All right, thank you so much. The program stay here this morning on ITV. We're going to be looking at EDO 2020 one more time, and most especially see the political parties and their manifestos as they stand. And we understand that the story about manifesto is so long age. Talking about, if you take your mind back to the NPP, the UPN, and also on all that, you'll discover that when we talk about political parties in Nigeria, it's something that readily comes to mind, that the same thing that you talk about political manifestos. Well, as we glide towards EDO 2020, it is very, very pertinent that as the campaigns begin to come to us as electorates out there, we should also begin to consider the political parties in line with what they stand for, their philosophies and their ideologies. And of course, to look at all this morning, we are so privileged to have two gentlemen here. First and foremost, I have very close to me on my left, Mr. Idris Zekari Jr. He's a political activist and of course a member of the APC campaign council in Edo State. You're welcome to this program this morning on ITV.
Thank you for having me as always. Thank you. All
right. We also have Mr. Isaac Aimuri, who is a senior special assistant to the Edo State government on public affairs. Mr. Isaac, you're welcome to this program this morning on ITV. You're welcome, gentlemen. Now, our viewers out there, we are going to let you know that this program is open for SMS only, because I do know that people out there, viewers out there, may be tempted to want to call into the program. So as the program progresses, you are going to have the number so that you can send your comments. And the number is 080-24645409. 080-24645409. And I repeat, 080-24645409. It's also the number that you can reach with, via WhatsApp. Gentlemen, you're welcome one more time. Now, let's talk politics. And as we look at EDO 2020, we've seen the political parties and their campaigns making the rounds and all that. Now, what do we readily make of the political parties and their manifestos? In other words, what impression do we really have with the political parties as they go side by side with their manifestos? I'll start with Zekari.
Well, I'll start by saying no two things are the same. No two men are the same. No two organizations are the same. And definitely no two political parties are the same. They have their areas of comparative advantage, and then they have areas of weaknesses. So both parties, in line with their manifestos, have where they are good at and where they are not so good at. Particularly, I'll be speaking on...
But I want us to... We are not looking at both parties. Yes. We're not talking about PDP and APC. Well, I know that you represent an interest.
Okay.
And he also represents an interest. But let's focus our introduction on the manifestos, of the political parties, about 14 political parties.
Yes.
You may have heard one or two things about other political parties.
Absolutely. I will not be able to speak on other parties and their manifestos, especially those who are not so in the limelight, the other smaller parties. But in Nigeria today, we have two major political parties.
But what is... No, I won't take that. All the parties are major. No, all the parties are major.
Those ones that have offices in the National Assembly, governors, and the rest.
But you can say that all the parties are major, so we can't say two major parties only. So the question again is, what is your impression about the campaigns, if you cannot speak for the manifestos?
The manifesto now, so that we don't jump it.
Okay.
The manifesto is the crux of what a party runs with.
Okay.
So whatever they have in their manifesto, their actions will not be significantly different from what is written on their manifesto. So that is why every party ought to have a manifesto. Some don't, some do. But all the parties, all political players need to have a manifesto that is in public domain. Something that you can access, you can pick up, you can read, and on the basis of what you have read in their manifesto, it will inform your decision whether to support the party or not to support the party, as the case may be. So that is at the level of the manifesto. As for the political campaigns, of course, there's nothing happening now that we don't expect. The only thing that we have continued to cry against and kick against and warn against is violence in politics. Let's continue to hope that political players, we don't need to come here and mention names, know that the violence is not part of our political life.
Okay. Now, Mr. Isaac, I also need to get your feedback on the impression about the political campaigns making the rounds. I mean, we see them, we hear them, we watch them on the television, and of course, somehow we're also privileged to learn one or two things about the manifesto. So what is your own impression?
Well, I'll speak for the PDP.
Okay.
Okay.
Just the way he's going to speak for the APC.
Yes, you know, manifestos are actually set of actions, set of implementable actions.
Okay.
You know, that a government will manifest, if you like, that a government would govern with. Okay, so you actually cannot govern without having a document with laid down activities or projects or you know, developmental program for the people you are aspiring to govern. So for the PDP, we have the Making Edo Great Again manifesto, which has been unveiled by our candidate and the governor of Edo State, Governor Nowegase Obaseki. And of course, it's very clear. You know, you can go to our party secretariat, you get a copy. You can also go to our website, the copy is there. We have a 12-point agenda. We're actually drawing from what we worked with between 2000 and that's in the last 3 years and about 8 months.
2016.
Okay, 2016 till date. You know, so then we had 6 points, you know, including infrastructural development, institutional reforms, environmental regeneration, you know, and all that. So now we are doing another 4 years. So we have expanded those 6 actions that, you know, we govern with in the outgoing term to 12 that we're going to govern with, God willing, from November 12, 2020.
Okay. Now, Zakari, you are from the APC, a member of the campaign organization, and we understand that your own manifesto centers around a simple agenda. But the question that one is tempted to ask now is that we probably saw that in the last 4 years, when your own candidate was in the PDP, we also saw the simple agenda. So what is really, is it that somebody is lifting a manifesto of a political party to another? Because the point is, candidates don't just go by their manifesto on their own. It is the party's manifesto that they come with. So if your own candidate had a simple agenda with the PDP in the last 4 years, how come he's having the same manifesto in the APC in this same year?
Let me quickly correct that, and I'm sure by the time I'm done, you will agree with me, and my co-discussant will agree with me. There are what we call party manifestos. Okay. Party manifestos. APC has its manifesto. In 1999, PDP did not have a manifesto.
No, you can't.
I'm telling you that factually. I'm coming.
Were you in PDP in 1999?
I'm telling you, I've done my research. I'm coming. I'm building. They didn't have a manifesto in 1999. Along the line, around 2003, they came up with their own manifesto. They have a manifesto now as at this material time. Let me anchor my point, sir.
That the PDP didn't have a manifesto.
I'm telling you, and I'm asking you to find out. Thank God we have viewers. Our viewers can find out. Everything is online. You can check. So there is a difference. To speak to your question, there's a difference between party manifesto and the candidate's manifesto. Now, the party's manifesto is national. Meaning, what the PDP or the APC has in its manifesto is to touch is what applies to the generality of the nation, the 36 states, and all the constituents of the nation. Same with the PDP, I want to believe, because I'm not a member of the PDP. But there are individual manifestos that are now domesticated to the various states. To imagine a local government chairman running, he needs to have a manifesto that applies to that local government. If you are in a harder local government in a river state where you have rivers everywhere, your manifesto may center around fishing and how to help the people to expand their craft in fishing. Okay, but if you are in let me anchor my point.
Yeah, let's so that we'll get it straight now. How correct is it to say that the candidate's manifesto portrays the party's manifesto, because that's the political ideology.
That now comes down to the brilliance and the application of the candidate's manifesto. There is a general manifesto of all the parties, individual parties. Now, like for the APC, their manifesto is on 3 R's: relief, recovery, and reform. That is the APC manifesto. There are a lot of details under that time will not permit us to go under. But our candidate's manifesto is the simple agenda. And that is his manifesto, his vision. And when you read the simple agenda is a smart document. It is specific, it is measurable, it is accurate, and it is time-bound. So that is what that is entire gamut, because you were asking me how will a candidate have a manifesto in one party and have the same manifesto in another party. It is the same manifesto, it is the same analogy, but it is now tailored towards the APC manifesto along the line of the APC's general view for the country,
just the
for
way
the development of the country.
Yeah, just the way
so,
some
but to speak to some of
Zachary,
okay.
just the way some analysts will say, or the way they said in the last 4 years, that manifesto, the simple agenda, was tailored, you know, towards the philosophy of the PDP then.
I have no analyst have said it, unless you are saying it.
No, not the one I'm saying. I mean, it's a common knowledge. So the question I'm asking, because we need to speak these issues out so that people will get things straight. Now, a candidate that had a manifesto in the last 4 years in a political party, now he comes into another political party, the same manifesto. So the question is, which is now which? Is it a case of just opposing ideologies and all that?
There is no confusion, except the one we chose to create. The simple agenda is clear, and there is no party written inside the simple agenda. It is the manifesto of the candidate, Pastor Usage Ezeyamu. And Pastor Usage Ezeyamu, as of today, is the governorship candidate of the All Progressive Congress. The same way the Godwin Obaseki is the governorship candidate of the PDP. And in any case, if he wants to tell us now that the mega agenda that they have now, the mega manifesto that they have now, had been existing since 2016, which we know never existed, it's a new document. If he wants to convince us that it has existed in 2016, that means that the same mega agenda was what he used to campaign in the APC.
Please,
and no, you can't come in. I have my time. There are time. We are not quarreling. It's a debate. Now, we are not quarreling. It's a debate. So you have to take. We take our time. It then means that they took the mega agenda from the APC and relocated it to the PDP. But I am not even alleging that, and I won't allege that. What I am saying is that the APC has its manifesto, which is the TROs, reforms, and the other two. And then the candidate of the APC has his agenda, which is the simple agenda.
Okay. Now, Mr. Isaac Aimori.
Everything about the Obaseki administration is about the Edo people. The people have been at the center of everything we have done in the last 3 years and about 8 months. And going forward, the people still form the heart of whatever we're doing. So everything we have in our Making Edo State Great Again document revolves around the people. So moving to, like he said, moving from APC to the PDP, I mean, it was very convenient for us because after all, PDP is part of the people. That is the tagline. You understand? So, I mean, we didn't have any issues at all. Okay? So, going forward, we have a vision beyond, it's not just a document that is hanging on nothing. Okay? The Obaseki administration has a vision, we have a mission statement, and of course, it is to achieve economic prosperity for Edo people.
How viable is your mission statement in your manifesto?
I mean, it's very clear. I mean, everybody can attest to the fact that Governor Obaseki is a technocrat. He's an economist. So everything he has done in the last 3 years and 8 months, even when he was head of the economic team, he was actually the brain box, like me and some leaders of the APC have come out openly to say. Okay? So there is this PPP, that's the public-private partnership model that he brings into everything. So it's not about government as usual, that you just come and take money and go. No. Instead, he has come to add value to what we already have. Okay. And to do that, we have clear reforms in all the sectors of the state. Is it in education, for example? You can attest to the fact that the education sector has a new face today with the Edo Best program.
I cannot attest.
If you move from there,
you cannot attest. I cannot. I have my opinion on that.
Yeah, you wait for your time when it's time.
You land reforms. Speak, Gone were the days when you were going to build a house, then you meet some youths who will ask you to pay settlement money, matching ground money, and all kinds of levies. What that did to us was that it scared away investors. But now that is history now. That doesn't happen anymore with the anti-CDA law. You understand? I mean, when he came in, he actually studied the situation and came up with a proposition that if we do not remove these bottlenecks to investment, we are not going to grow. And as you know, there is no country today, whether subnational or national, that actually wants to impact on the lives of the people without looking at best practices, worldwide. So, I mean, you can imagine that in the 21st century, for you to develop a property, you still have to pay all kinds of illegal levies. Okay? And he initiated a bill with in partnership with Our Royal Majesty, and the bill was sent to the House of Assembly. It was passed into a law, and since then, we have actually taken care of that problem. So investment inflow into Edo State now is at an all-time high because of that singular action.
Okay.
So that is reform. That's what reform can do for you.
Okay. All right. Now, viewers out there, the program is still this morning on ITV, Wednesday's edition, and our focus today is to look at the EDO 2020 and see how the manifestos are, in various political parties. But our main focus here today, because we have the two representatives here from the APC, the All Progressives Congress, and the People's Democratic Party. Now, we are not saying that other parties don't matter in this election. They matter. But subsequently, we're going to make sure that we bring other political parties so that they can also bear their minds on some of the issues that we're talking about here. Gentlemen, you're welcome one more time.
Thank you.
Now, Zachary, I'll come to you. If you look at the campaigns, there is no doubt that the campaigns are pivoted on the items in this manifesto. And of course, one thing is very glaring. It brings to mind the issue of performance, what a candidate has done, and what a candidate is saying he will do. Now, you discover that it is very, very normal for people to want to react to what they have seen and what they also intend to see. I don't know how you marry these two analogies together.
I will appeal to you that in the course of this conversation, you allow me try to anchor my point as much as possible, the way you allow him, so that
of course you're allowed,
so that we can have a robust conversation.
Of course,
as much as
you're
possible.
certainly allowed.
I know the things that are not allowed in this kind of discourse. So we are not here to call names. We are not here to insult anybody. We just want to discuss the issue. So as much as possible, I'm allowed to anchor my point. Well, you brought us here to speak on our manifesto. Yeah. He will speak on their Omega agenda, the latest document in town, and will speak on our manifesto that is already used to the Edo people, that is in the hands of every Edo man. That is part of our campaign. We don't just call the simple agenda as a simple agenda. We take it everywhere and we give it to people and we say, read. It is measurable. After 4 years and you check these documents and we have not arrived at some of these key performance indicators, then you can call us to order. For their own mega agenda, it didn't exist in 2016. You will agree with me. That's not an insult. That is the truth. It didn't exist. That is why when you promise nothing, you do nothing. The government, I'm now speaking to the issue, the question you asked about performance. Because the government did not promise, did not have a manifesto in 2016, it did nothing. You cannot come in. I have my time.
You can't. He has his time.
Yes,
you're going to have your time to speak.
Yes, because he didn't have a manifesto in 2016, he did nothing along the line of the manifesto in 2016. So the document you are seeing, the mega you are seeing, is a quick put together so that they will have something to be able to use to match the simple agenda that is already domesticated with the Edo people.
But
now,
again, let us, you cannot say that because you are not in the PDP. I mean, let's speak on what
we ran elections in 2016. I
know.
And in 2016, Pastor Sage Izeyamu had a simple agenda. Godno Baseki, who was in my political party that I supported in 20, did not have a manifesto.
Did Pastor Sagizeyam, did he hurriedly run together that?
No, it has been there since 2015.
So why would you say that Godno Baseki quickly put together?
No, it was written this election period.
No, but
that
you
can't.
When is the author?
When is the date of?
You check the ISBN because you are not in the PDP.
No, you will check the ISBN and see the date it was.
Anyway, I'll let you.
But let us leave all that. Just to speak to the issue of performance. I have already said that they promised nothing, so they didn't do. They had no manifesto, so they didn't do much. Now, when you talk about what they had in 2016 were very big mouth promises that now between them, Edo people and the rest of us, the whole of us can now agree that most of those big mouth promises did not come to fruition. I'll give you a good example. There were promises that there was going to be a seaport in Gelegele. That has not come to fruition, and there is no hope it is coming to. Even a Kenwan Road, they have not been able to fix. A Kenwan Road is worse today than it was before they started it. Now, there were promises to do the Benin Industrial Park. There were promises to do the Sobe farms. There were promises to have a super highway that will carry cement and other farm produce from Okbela to Gelegele so that they can take them for export. That has not come to fruition. So all those big mouth promises did not come to fruition because there was no manifesto in 2016. So a quick put together under the premise of mega agenda cannot be seen as a manifesto. But even if we agree that it's a manifesto, when we juxtapose it with the simple agenda, you see that it is lacking in so many areas. I can give you a rundown of the simple agenda. Number one is security and social welfare. That is the very crux of governance. The S. The I is infrastructural development and urban renewal. The M is manpower development. The P is public-private partnership. And if you read the details of it, we speak to it in specifics. In other words, if we are going to use public-private partnership to construct a road that runs from Okpela to Gelegele, we wrote it there. So that at the end of all, you can come and say, oh God, you people promised to do this, you have not done it. Not promises that cannot be substantiated. Which of the campaign rallies, I watched more than 5 of your news articles on the PDP campaign this morning when I was in the waiting room. There is no campaign that the governor went to that he presented the mega document to people and said, please hold me to this West. This is what you will hold me to after 4 years. But anywhere our candidate has gone to, he has presented a simple agenda to the market women, to the artisans, to the traditional rulers, to the intellectuals, so that they can all hold this document and read. So at the end of 4 years, you can hold him to this document depending on the performance he has, depending on what he has been able to do, based on what he has promised and the manifesto, the thematic areas of the manifesto in the document.
Okay, beautiful. Now, viewers out there, I told you that 08024645409 is the number that you need to send your reactions to. 08024645409. Just keep on letting those XMS come through, and we're going to take them. Now, Isaac, you may want to react to some of the things he talked about.
Yes, I want to take exception to all the claims he made, you know, because we are not learning to govern. We are not making empty promises. We are running on the achievements we have made in the last 3 years and a half. Okay? So it is preposterous. It is an inverted argument for you to say that we have governed Edo State without a manifesto. Okay? I never said that making Edo great again existed 4 years ago, like the simple agenda, which is actually outdated, which cannot stand the test of present times. If you look through our document, you see a column that is devoted to post-COVID-19 economy. Let him show me where in the simple agenda you have that provision. It doesn't exist. It is not there. It is outdated. It is, it can't be implemented given the current socioeconomic realities we have in Edo State today. He mentioned the seaport. I mean, he was just being economical with the truth. Everybody knows that the seaport is work in progress. He never said the Edo refinery, which is about 80% ready for use. Okay? He never mentioned the CCETC power plant, which of course, is a public domain. It's ready, it's just awaiting commissioning by the relevant federal government agencies. Okay? So, Obaseki is not learning to govern. We have governed in the last 3 years and 8 months, so the experience is there. So, the mega manifesto is actually a document that will attend to current challenges, not challenges of 2016. Okay? We never had COVID-19 in 2016, but we have it now. Okay? So, and everybody can attest to the fact that if you do not have any plan, any provision for a post-COVID-19 economy, then you are joking. You are not ready to govern. You are just making empty promises. Okay? And that's by the wayside. In our manifesto, we are very particular about judiciary reform. Okay? And the reform of our legal system. And the governor has demonstrated that very well in the public, and we know that the governor will not resort to self-help. We will not congregate lions and tigers, okay, to campaign to our people. We will not do that. Okay? We have seen evidence of violence. We have seen manifestation of it everywhere in Edo State in the course of the ongoing campaign. The governor does not need to kill the people he is going to govern. He has said that times without number. So beyond the pious pronouncements we make, beyond the pious promises we make, let us look at the capacity of the individual, the intellect, the presence of mind, the capacity to actualize it. And the governor has demonstrated that. In fact, he wrote on the back of that in 2016. It was called the brain box, and we have seen it. We have seen power plant. We have seen a refinery. In fact, I was a news editor, some years back when they were talking about the unbundling of the power sector, privatization of refineries and all that. So many licenses were given. As we speak, tell me one private refinery we have. But in less than 4 years, we have one coming up in Edo State. And somebody's telling me that is not worth celebrating. Somebody's telling me you don't need to put faith in the individual that made that happen. Even while he was still the head of the economic team, he also was the brain behind the Azura power plant. We all know that. Okay? So it's about capacity beyond just the promises we make, beyond the documents we hand over to people to say, no, vote for me on this basis. No. We have records to show. We have EDO best, to parade. We have the refinery to parade. We have the power plant to parade. We have roads.
Okay. All right. I like what Zachary is doing, jotting down points instead of,
not be quarrel. Now, we came here to educate, to talk to our people.
We're actually having a conversation, not necessarily a contest. We're not having a contest here. So it's just a conversation so that members of the public there can really follow us, even as we prepare for the EDO 2020 election. Now, Zachary, I'll come to you based on what he probably said, and maybe somehow some of the things making the rounds about your own manifesto, the simple agenda. And he also talked about it, that something outdated and all that. Now, there are some talks from some corner that the simple agenda probably emanated from the defunct UPN. And for most people, those kind of realities cannot really, work out the realities of now. As it relates to your manifesto. I don't know what you have to say about that.
Before I will make comments on what I consider rumors, I would first of all make comments on concrete issues that he has raised.
Okay.
Chief among which is that this anti-CDA law, that we should give the 6th as EDO Assembly credit for, he has credited it to the governor. We should credit it to the Omonoba that sat down and said that things can no longer be like this in his community.
But it was the governor that accented.
Was it the governor that legislated it?
But without the accent of the governor.
But let us even leave. Let us.
No, the question: without the accent of the governor, that would not.
I beg you that you should allow me anchor my point the way you allow him.
But we need
so that we can have a balance.
Yes, Zachary,
I agree. He should have said. If you had wanted to correct him, he should have said that the governor was the one that assented, but it was a job done by the State House of Assembly in conjunction with the Omonoba.
I know.
It was a private bill. So let's leave that. Let's continue. We have a lot to run through.
Except you don't want to listen to me.
Okay, I'm listening to you.
I'm the anchor of this program.
Okay.
Now, my kids are watching, and of course, they do know that before any item becomes a law, it takes the accent of the governor. It takes the assent of the local government chairman. It takes the assent of the president. Now, when somebody says, that, just like what I said, without the accent of the governor, do you think that piece would have become a law?
No. Without the legislation of the State House of Assembly, it would not have become, it would not have been available for assent.
Okay, so
we must also inform the kids at home that legislation is how laws are made.
Anyway,
the governor is not a treasurer, it's not a monarch that will just come up with a law and it becomes a law. Right. But let's leave all that. I mentioned some empty promises they made. Thank God they didn't disagree that they were empty promises like the superhighway and the Gelegele, and there is no work ongoing in Gelegele. There is no work going on in the industrial park. I've been there. Yeah, I know you've been there. If we want to tell the people the truth, we can tell them that yes, there is nothing going on in Gelegele as at this material time. Now, you talked about EDO refinery. This is where I get very emotional because we should inform our people and not try to deceive them. What is Edo's contribution, Edo state government's contribution to the Edo refinery? The Edo refinery is a private refinery, and in any case, 9 of those modular refineries are being built in this country. You don't see Rivers State Governor and Delta State Governor jump out and say, yes, I'm the one building the refinery. When Adams Oshiomhole was governor, they built Kada Plaza. They built some major private investment in this Edo state. Will Adams Oshiomhole come up tomorrow and say he's the one that built Kada Plaza? He didn't build it. Yes, it was done during his era. It does not mean that he has done it. He also tried to intelligently credit Azura Power Plant to the present government. Azura Power Plant was built by Comrade Adams Oshiomhole. It was built during the time of Comrade Adams Oshiomhole. He signed the MOU that gave birth to Azura Power Plant. Can Adams Oshiomhole now come tomorrow and say his government built Azura Power Plant? They did not build it. Now, what government needs to do is very simple. Build roads, build schools, build health centers, employ teachers, employ doctors. How have you fared in this area? Next to nothing. He talked about Edo Best. What is Edo Best? Under your Edo Best program, have you built a single new primary school in Edo State? Have you built a single new secondary school in Edo State? That's the question. Have you employed one teacher in the past 4 years? So what is best about the best you are talking about? To make paintings in classrooms. So he also mentioned Osimo Power Plant. Osimo Power Plant is an investment by the Chinese company CCETC. It's not Edo State government. If you go there and you see the project signboard, I have been there. People go there and check all these things. You will see it's boldly written CCETC and all the federal agencies that are collaborating. Indirectly, you are taking the glory of the federal government that brings a power plant. And in any case, can a state government build a power plant? Do they have the money to invest in a power? They don't have it. So you can say, yes, these things were built during my time. But for you to come and they use it for campaign, and I feel that's very sad. It's not your job. It's not your job. ITV was built during the time when we had a governor in office when ITV was built. Will that governor come tomorrow and say, ITV is my product? It's a private organization. You must commend those who have made those investments, but not claiming credit for those investments. And that is the area I feel we are making a lot of mistakes. Now to speak to our agenda that I said he alleged that it was becoming outdated. I think their agenda, they hurriedly put together, did not answer a lot of questions. Where in your agenda do they put consideration for malaria that is killing more people than COVID-19? Where in your agenda do they put consideration for HIV/AIDS that has been with us since as old as time? You understand? And you are talking of post-COVID-19 economy. What is post-COVID-19 economy? The economy that we are already seeing now, because all of us have adjusted. People use their nose mask, people use all of that. Are you going to be buying nose masks for people? So you don't come and make bogus and big claims so that people will be impressed with your English. But again, and then at the end of the day, you have not said anything to the market woman on the street. Yeah. So the question we should ask Edo State government as of today is, what have you done in the last 3 years? And the answer is next to nothing.
Okay, now I will come to, we're going to pick some calls. I've been instructed to do that. So when the calls, okay, I think it's just going to be SMS only. 08024645409 is the number. So keep those SMS coming in. And so that your comments will be taken on this platform today. Now, Isaac, I know you are waiting, itching anxiously. But again, before you react to some of the things that he said, I need you to tell us, what do you think is the basis, for really having manifestos in an election? Because we need to know so that the people can actually begin to reason along side by side with some of these campaigns that, okay, Party A is saying this, Party B is saying this, so that they can be better informed. Isaac.
Yeah. Well, before I answer your question, I actually expected, that we will have very robust conversation that will acknowledge fact for what they are and not to controvert fact. Okay? I came here to speak to our manifesto.
That's why you are here. If he says anything, you can say no, or you can say yes.
Disseminate falsehood and tell you what is existing does not exist. I mean, for me, that is warped. Okay? That somebody in 21st century is telling me that the refinery in Ologbo, was not initiated by the state governor. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Well, let me ask you directly. Was this built by the state governor? No, we should not play with language. Okay, use your time.
It's time, so let him speak.
We have very decent, very responsible audience members at home who are even aware of these facts. We were here in Benin when the governor made trips to China to sign agreements. In fact, it will interest you to know that the news of the refinery, work on the refinery project, was even broken by agents of the APC. They actually sent some people to Ologbo to go and record the empty land. Because in their own thinking, there was nothing going on there. You understand?
Those
it
are
was
claims.
The same people. It
Those
was the same people that
correct it. Zachary, you are interrupting.
Okay.
You are interrupting.
To go there and record and send the materials to them so that they can use it to ridicule the governor. Because then they were calling him the MOU governor. They were the people that now called us in government house to tell us that, hey, please, there is a refinery ongoing here. And they send the pictures. Edo people gave Obaseki wait and see governor. He didn't pay for it. He didn't have to bribe anybody to get it. Okay? It was based on what they see. People went to bed, yesterday night, only to wake up this morning and see roads. That never existed before. People on Lucky Way, for example, woke up and saw, the huge work that was going on there. Okay? And they named him Wait and See. You understand? So can somebody come to the studio and controvert that? I mean, it's unacceptable. This is a media house. Okay? So I mean, we have video clips, we have written articles, we have facts that we can use to counter such irresponsible claims.
Okay. Then again, I ask, what should be the basis of manifestos?
Yes, well, I will speak for the PDP. Like I said, when I started my talk, I did say that the people, Edo people, not a bunch of thugs, okay? No. The ordinary Edo people who are in their millions, in the markets, in the farm, the average civil servant who had been, so disenchanted about his work because he didn't have a decent environment to carry out his assignment. Okay? Those are the people that are at the heart of our manifesto. After all, what is governance? It is to serve the people. It is to impact on the people. It is to enhance their socio-economic statuses. Okay? So that is at the heart of, whatever we have been doing since 2016. Okay? So whether you call it social sector, reforms like education, whether you call it land reforms, whether you call it economy and industrialization, whether you call it environment and public affairs, whether peace and security, transport, arts and culture and tourism, it is about the Edo person. Okay? So we should, for us, that is what matters to us.
Okay. Now, Zachary, you also want to react to the basis, because the way I asked him the question, that's what I was going to ask you to. What is the basis of your own manifesto? I know you've highlighted it, but I need you to expand more.
I will. All right. But let me quickly speak to some of the issues.
Quickly, let me call the number, the SMS number one more time, 080-2464-5409. 080-2464-5409. Just send your SMS and definitely I'll take it. Zachary.
So let me quickly rush back to where we started when he said that you need manifesto as a tool to govern. Since they didn't have a manifesto in 2016, means they have been governing in a directionless manner. But let's not even dwell on that. He uses very high. You usually don't stop him. He uses very high-sounding language like irresponsible, talks and the rest.
Now, Zachary, do you know my point? My point here is to orchestrate in such a way that you don't infringe on him. He doesn't infringe on you. You are not in the PDP, so you cannot say, they didn't have manifesto. So if he had said that, I would have also told him, you can't say so.
Well, then he spoke about wait and see. I don't even want to dwell on that because that has become, the actions that gave him that appellation have since expired. And because it has expired, it's not a waste of time calling anybody wake and sleep. The one that is popular on the street now is wake and sleep. You wake and you sleep. But let's not dwell on all of that. And then there's a particular statement he made that I take very serious exception to. Anybody that is not in Obaseki's government, to the Obaseki's government is a thug. We are not thugs. Edo youths are not thugs. And in any case, these same persons you are calling thugs are the ones that have PVC. And they are the ones that will vote in September 19. Because a youth, a young person is unemployed, and the person is demanding from government that government should be responsible to their hues and cries, you call them thugs, you call them miscreants, you call them all sorts of names. And that is why it will be difficult for them in September 19. Because the persons who are going to vote, you have already called them thugs. It is not a sin to be unemployed. There is nowhere in the world that it is a sin to be unemployed. Abroad, people are not employed and the government take care of them. It is the job of government to take care of its citizens by way of welfare. So because they are not employed and they demand from government that government please find a way to touch our lives, and you call them thugs. And in any case, even if they are thugs, let us agree that you have thugs in Edo State. God forbid we don't have. But let us even agree that we have thugs. What is the responsibility of government? To demonize them or to reform them? And in this case, this government has successfully continued to demonize Edo youth by calling them thugs. But let's not dwell on the little nitty-gritties of some of the things they say. I have said it before. You know, when we use language, we think we are talking to people who are not smart. People at home are smart. Edo State government initiated the refinery. What is initiate? What is the stake of Edo State government inside the refinery? Did they put Edo State government money in it? And in any case, what is the stock value? What is their value in the refinery? The refinery was built in conjunction with the federal government by a private organization. Don't ascribe it to Edo State government. Edo State government might have provided land and a signed document that will give you certificate of occupancy. It does not mean that you are the one that built it. That is what I want to correct. I cannot come tomorrow and say Edo State government did not renovate state secretariat. They did. It is Edo State government money. But for me to agree here that Edo State government built a refinery when they did not build any, it will be a disservice to our viewers. you asked me a question, let's speak to the manifesto. I just wanted to quickly correct all of that. The simple agenda. The simple agenda is a document that has 6 thematic areas.
Yeah, you said that a while ago. I asked, my question is, what is the basis of your own manifesto?
The basis of the manifesto is the people.
Okay.
It is a careful study of the wants, the needs, the aspirations of the people. And we came up with an agenda that speaks to those aspirations in such a way that it is a smart document. It is something that you can measure. At the end of 4 years, you can take it and say, okay, this thing that you said we were going to do, how much have you gone? We will not be talking of percentage, 60, 80, 90, 100%. Because it's something that you can measure. It's something that you can hold on to. It is something you can take to court. It is litigable. You can take it to court and say, this government promised to do this, and they have not done it. Unlike theirs, that it's just unlike some other person's own, that is just a put together of some smart, high-sounding language to hoodwink the ordinary voters. The ordinary voters want to understand what you want to do. What is your plan for Airport Road? If you check the simple agenda, it's written there, how they will take Airport Road from Airport Road all the way to Ekenwa Road. It is written. At the end of 4 years, if that is not done, you can go to the author of the simple agenda and say, sir, you promised that you were going to take Airport Road from where Adams Oshomole stopped to Ekenwa Road, sir. You have not done it. Okay, beautiful. That is what we don't have. That's why when we are talking to this government, they will start pointing what private individuals have done, okay, and they ascribe it to themselves.
Now, let me come to Isaac. Now, I would have intercepted at the point you said the government has been demonizing the youths. I would have intercepted you, but if
when you call us thugs, what are you doing? No, are you praising us?
When you say the youth,
when foreign partners are watching, and you call Edo youth thugs.
Zegari and the moderator here. Now, when you say the youth, I think that's a little bit generalistic. Now, I want Isaac to react to that. I would have intercepted you, but you would have also
let him be the one.
So, Isaac, is it true that the Edo State Governor, Godwin Nogegase Obaseki, has kept on demonizing the youths in Edo State?
It is a lie in every sense of the word. The governor is too sophisticated to even use such words. Okay? You understand it? If the governor, named or called Edo youths thugs, why did he make commitments to provide 200 jobs for Edo people, for example, 200,000 jobs for Edo people? Okay? However, I mean, I wouldn't want to see black and call it white for the sake of television interview. The thugs know themselves. That is the truth. I never said that Edo youths are thugs. Okay? I only said that in the APC, they have actually succeeded in converting decent Edo people to political thugs, who they are using to harass people. The people they call lions, dangerous lions.
But again, you can also say so. If you are not in the APC, no, you cannot. We need to get something straight. It is.
The video trended online a couple of days ago. You understand? I mean, it's a fact. You get it? In fact, the APC Buba candidate even said that some of them are so dangerous that they can move from one local government to another.
But that's not the point we are making here. Yeah. Let us not.
So back to your question. Back to your question. Yeah. If the governor didn't make commitment to create 200,000 jobs, for example, for Edo youth, if the governor did not revamp the technical college, which was actually one institution that provided skilled manpower for the whole of Nigeria. I have uncles who went to Benin Technical College years back.
I taught him Benin Technical College.
Just Zikari let him anchor his point.
I mean, we just let bad leadership, actually destroy those core institutions we had to build manpower. But the governor, in fact, the first trip he made after his inauguration was to Benin Technical College. He got there and he wept, and he said, "So can this place create the quality manpower that we need to grow our economy? Because internationally, capital goes where there are where you have skilled manpower, where you have affordable manpower, where you have infrastructure." Okay? Before the governor came here, everybody, I mean, we all know, we can attest to it. He was a global player, in industry. So he knows these issues. So he came. In fact, when he started, people thought maybe perhaps he didn't know what he was doing. He went to the technical college, reconstructed it, brought in partners, and revamped the entire place. You need to go there and see what we have there. You will be happy to send your child there to go and learn a skill or two. Because you need technical knowledge to grow, economy.
Okay. Is your own manifesto document, the mega Make Edo Great Again,
Yeah,
is it a simple document that you can litigate the governor for tomorrow?
This is as simple as you can think.
Okay, because that's
It's simple. All the plans are well spelled out.
okay. So it's a document that I can take to court tomorrow in case if he wins and he doesn't do those things.
His word is his bond. He has always said that. In fact, there's hardly any promise he made that he has not fulfilled. He said he was going to create 200,000 jobs. He set up the infrastructure to actualize that. Okay? You go to Edo jobs. The governor didn't say, I'm going to employ 200,000 civil servants. Because even in best practice, the World Bank, the International Monetary Fund, they will tell you, you don't need an over-bloated civil service, for example. You understand? Instead, create the enablement for people to learn jobs that are in high demand in industry. There are welders today in the oil companies that earn 1 million naira a month. You understand? So these are the kinds of skill, in the tech space, people are learning how to do coding, they are learning how to do solar power, facilities and all of that. All that is going on at the Edo Innovation Hub.
Okay, now let's see some of the SMSs we have. Just like what I told you, the number is on the screen already, 08024645409, and we've got this one that says that simple agenda to me is not clear. Let APC tell Edo people all they want, all they plan to do, not just saying simple agenda. And as far as I know, that is not an agenda. That's the first SMS that we've got here. And of course, I have another one that reads that, let's see now. It reads that, good morning, presenter. Please kindly tell the APC representative to stick to his manifestos and stop diverting, thereby wasting time. Famous from Ikbubahi in Benin City here. That's the next one. And of course, we've got another one that reads that Owens from Saple Road, Benin City, APC failed the country, and Pastor Osaige Zeyamu has a financial case in court. Well, no court has said so. You have to be careful. No court has indicted Pastor Osaige Zeyamu that he has a financial issue. So let's watch what we say. And of course, that's your own contribution there. And of course, we also have this one that says that the fact Zachary is trying to defend his party APC, that's the fact that Zachary is trying to defend his party APC. The gospel truth is that APC will not win this state's election because he is far from the truth. This is not a party apathy, but individuals' credibility and performances from Gabriel in Benin City. And of course, we also have this one that reads that, let's see now, it says that Evans, there is a saying that the presence of an unwholesome peanut is easily tested in the mouth. My brother at the center, why is that whatever Osaige Zeyamu is involved in, corruption must be involved? Well, again, be careful, just like what I told you, no court has given a verdict. No judge has given a verdict that Pastor Zeyamu is corrupt. So let us be careful with what we say with our contributions. And of course, we also have this one too that reads that Edo people are smarter now and will not fall for simple trick like the simple agenda. We will vote for a tested, trusted candidate, blessing ORF from Benin City. So you can see some of the SMS. Now, quickly, Zachary, I wanted to make one or two contributions before we continue.
First of all, let me thank those who have made sent those messages. These are the kind of messages that keep us going. These are the discourse that open up the political space.
Yeah.
But in a nutshell, no matter where your sentiment or your biases wave towards, the truth remains the truth, and facts remain facts. For example, he talked about the 200,000 jobs, and he also agreed, although a bit not clearly, that the 200,000 jobs as of today is a mirage. It has not happened, and it does not look like it's going to happen. As a matter of fact, they churn out different figures every day. The government say they have done 30,000, they say another newspaper say they've done 150,000, but the ordinary people on the streets know that there are no 200,000 jobs anywhere. Then about talking about the candidate of the APC, well, no, you cannot convict a man until a court has pronounced him guilty. And the PDP where he is coming from is where all these cases emanated from. But in any case,
so does that mean that PDP is corrupt?
No, I will not call anybody corrupt. It is the people that we judge. We know those who share money. That is the truth. The average man on the street knows those who share money to politicians. So that is the bitter truth. Even in the APC, there was an argument then that you don't want to. The governor claimed he didn't want to share money. We challenged him openly and say, name those who want you to share money. But as soon as he went to the PDP, you saw the heavens opened and it rained everywhere.
Were you part of the sharing?
No, I mean it rained. Did I talk of
were you part of the rain? Did the rain fall on you as well?
It's raining season now. The rain will fall on everybody.
Yes,
but it did not fall on me. It fell on those in the other side. Now, to speak to the issues, I think our people our people need to understand that I can, even himself that is speaking to the mega agenda, what he has are papers printed from the internet. But you see, this is the simple agenda. This document is more than 5 years.
Zachary, you see, there again.
I'm still explaining.
I know. My job here is to make sure I do my job. There again, you cannot say that. I mean, it is property. It is documents. It has rights. It has rights.
It's not
just
a book.
The way you have
it's
rights.
Papers printed from the internet.
Look
at it. Is it not?
Are you saying that we cannot print this in paper forms?
So what I am saying.
Yeah, please. The simple agenda was not printed.
Yeah, just hold on. Now,
gentlemen, came, dropped from heaven.
Yeah, gentlemen,
from
the
internet.
Gentlemen, let's talk in such a way that we don't infringe on our sentiments.
Okay. Yeah. On our sentiments. Yeah. Thank God, not on our rights, but on our sentiments.
Even on our rights too.
I'm not infringing on anybody. So this is the simple agenda, and it is clear. It is a document for those who are willing to pick it up and read. As a matter of fact, I didn't support this candidate until I've read this. I picked it up, I read it, and it answered to specific questions in the EDO project. Specific questions, not vague. Clearly specified that even an SS1 student can pick up, read, and hold it as a document that you will hold the government up to. So that's the simple agenda. So for those who don't have it, we can make it available. It's here. It's there for everybody. You can get it in the campaign. For anywhere you see the campaign, just walk up to anybody who is part of it and say, give me a copy of it. They give you. Go home and read so that we'll have a more robust and intellectual discourse. Also, the mega agenda, the mega manifesto is, I checked the internet this morning to try to get it. I couldn't get it, but I hope that they will also put it in a pamphlet so that we can also get it and read. So that in the case that is most unlikely that they get back into power, we will be able to hold them to some of these things. I know that's not going to happen, but in any case, let us have it so that we read it for academic purposes. Okay, so that is the way it is. Yeah, so I thank our people who are sending SMSs. It is part of the general discourse.
All right, now, now the number is still there, 08024645409. You can still send your SMS. Now, Amuri, I think you have, you just said that your mega agenda, your mega manifesto is not in the pamphlets. So
I don't even understand what he means by that.
But really, it's not.
You don't know what the pamphlet is.
Amuri, how come you don't have that as a booklet?
You
just
have it as a booklet
from the site and printed in my office.
No, don't.
For convenience. I don't know if you understand it.
No. This is a book.
Let's not even go at me. Are you telling me this was not printed?
No, I didn't say
I don't know if you understand. It's a
So is it true that you have that as a booklet, the way it has?
Of course, we do.
Okay,
it was unveiled by the governor at the stadium.
Okay.
It was. It's there. However, the so-called simple agenda, as we speak, is a matter for controversy.
But again, you cannot also. You are leaving your terrain now, Isaac. You are not in that party.
Let him speak on simple agenda. The more he talks on it, the more we become popular.
Just the way I've been hurting him.
You have heard him attack my point, and I need to make some clarification on some of these things.
But don't make it very sensitive.
No,
just go.
No, I have the right to accept any kind of controversy.
You can't go ahead to say that I own the simple agenda. Okay. You are aware that Dr. Don Pedro Obaseki came out on national television to say that the simple agenda is originally his. You understand?
Well, Don Pedro Obaseki is not here now to claim.
There is a provision in the simple agenda that says that the APC governor will lead by example. We call it leadership by example. Okay, I've heard him on television saying that.
Yeah, it's written, boldly written.
And I ask, which example? Is it the example that is in public domain? That is a 700 million fraud allegation on his neck, that he was a cultist while in university.
All those are allegations, Isaac. No court has
lions and tigers.
No court has given a verdict.
That Edo people want.
Yeah, Isaac. No court has given a verdict, so that's clear.
You see,
so
no matter the verbal engagements we have here, Edo people. In fact, from the feedbacks we just got from some of our viewers out there, Edo people are rational people. They are not swayed by sentiments. They are not swayed by, you know, these kinds of clever tricks. They are not. They know everyone. I mean, we are all in Benin. We know ourselves. They know the person they can invest their faith in. They know the person they can give the key to the treasury of Edo State. You understand? So when you say you are going to lead by example, which example have you provided?
Okay, let's see more estimates.
On agriculture,
Yeah.
I've heard the APC candidate saying that, you know, he's a farmer. And the question I've been asking is, I have gone to virtually every market to look for Yamu rice. I have not seen it. I've gone to the market to look for Yamu beans, Yamu vegetable. So, I mean, which farm? What are the products? You know, I mean, you understand it.
I'll speak to some of those.
So is it a political farm? Is he using it to get contracts from government and all of that? I don't understand it.
Okay, now quickly, let's take one or two more SMS, then I'll come to Zachary so that we can round up the points here this morning. And this one says, does that APC man knows that he is talking about 2016 manifesto? Obaseki was an APC man and a PDP man too. Claiming all Obaseki's achievements cost till few weeks ago. Obaseki was an APC governor, Sila from Ibadan, all the way in Ibadan in Oyo State. That SMS is coming from. Well, a very big thank you. Now, I've got this one now that says that the man in cap lacks. Well, I won't read this now, please. We won't, just in as much as you are entitled to make your contributions, try to not to pass some very, very, you know, words that won't be palatable on any guest there. If I invite you here, you have your right to say your own word. Now, I've got another SMS too. Now, let's read this one now. It says that, let's see more SMS. It's just that the SMS are coming in. And of course, all right. Okay. Let's see. This one says that APC representative, it's, okay. That's your own point of view. That's your own point of view. Please mind what you say. Now we've got.
I think they have a right to.
No, you don't. You don't also have. You don't. It's. I'm the one.
Yeah,
I'm the one moderating here. Now we've got this one now that says that. Let's see now. This one says that. Good morning. This is Blessing from Oluku. The APC guy over there claiming the refinery and the power plants cannot be attributed to Obaseki government is disseminating falsehood. And of course, what about the Red Roof schools in past administration that is being attributed to the past governor? Were they not NDDC's project? That's the way you said it.
Very
now.
funny.
And of course, we've got this other one that says that, let's see, good morning, ITV. My name is Gladys from Benin City. And from Benin City, the truth must be told. Obaseki is the best governor Edo State has ever had. Anybody who is against him is either blind, you know, and we don't use profane words here, so I'm not going to take that. Well, that's all that. So, gentlemen, let's wrap up this discussion this morning. I'll just give you guys 1 minute each so that we can quickly. Zachary, quickly.
Well, first of all, thank our people. All the many allegations about leadership by example. We also know that there's a commissioner in this state whose case is still in Interpol that has not come back home for $2 million Edo State money. But I'm not here to throw. I'm not here to throw tantrums at anybody. I will remark that Yamu is a farmer. IO Farms is popular. What you are asking for is that we should be writing people's name on top of tomatoes. Nobody writes names on top of tomatoes. He's producing, and it is all there for everyone to see. Now, in the final analysis, first of all, I want to thank Edo people. The people we speak to understand us, and no matter how much you mobilize people to send SMSs or to call into any program, it will not change the generality. We are speaking to the market women, we are speaking to the lecturers, we are speaking to the secondary school teachers, we are speaking to the children who go to schools that have been turned to market, we are speaking to everybody, average Edo, like the drivers who are subjected to a lot of hassles now. We are speaking to all the generality of Edo people that we have a simple agenda that is workable, that is smart.
Beautiful.
And when we deploy this, Edo will be better for it. We don't need to insult anybody, and I'm not here to insult anybody. And in any case, Edo youths are not thugs. Whoever calls us thugs is the person that is a thug.
Well, Isaac, 30 seconds, quickly.
Yeah, well, I think they've said everything. All I can say is to thank Edo people for their fondness, for the immense faith they have in Governor Obaseki. We are very thankful. We have never seen such goodwill, of this measure, of this size in our recent political history. People are actually using their money. Only 2 days ago, somebody in Edo North, on behalf of his community, brought out 5 million to support the governor's campaign. Edo people in the diaspora who have benefited immensely from our reforms.
My time is so pressed. Gentlemen, thank you so much. Now, Zekari, we're going to do this, and I expect you to do that to him too. We are all
election will be fighting now.
So after 19th September, we're going to be together in unity and in one accord. So let's try as much as possible to approach all issues with utmost decorum and peace as we make preparations for the election.